I really think there's no bad time to flirt. I'm all about shooting your shot.
Sometimes being a good friend means calling them out on their dumb decisions.
If he doesn't open the door for me on a first date, huge red flag.
Welcome to Dialed In.
Hello.
Welcome to Dialed In, your daily dose of unlicensed therapy. I'm Rachel.
And I am Montaine.
And this is your hour to join the conversation. So no matter how unwell you're feeling, we got your back.
All right, so call us 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. And remember, folks, if you're listening to today's show on the SiriusXM app, which, first off, pat on the back to you. I'm very proud of you. There's a little phone icon. You just click that. You don't even need to know the number, even though if you're a normal listener, you definitely know it by heart.
Exactly. And if we don't happen to pick up, which we usually do, but you can always leave a voicemail and we'll either call you back or we're going to play your voicemail on air.
Yes, exactly.
So do it.
Yeah.
So do it. Friday.
Wow.
Friday.
Literally 55 seconds in, first song of the day.
And that was a made up song by me.
I feel like we need to do one full episode. No movie references or quotes from me. No music from you.
You don't like my singing?
No, it's not that. It's literally, I feel like that's every episode. And I feel like we need to limit ourselves. It's like saying a lot, when you watch a speech back. Yeah.
Let's try it.
I need a Post-it note behind you on the wall that's like, do not make a movie reference.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, do not say like.
I made a video yesterday on TikTok or it was a couple days ago, and I was looking back at it. I think I said easily 30 times in the video.
Reflecting.
The video was a minute long. I looked at it, I said, oh my God.
That's sad.
Seriously, I don't ever talk like that. My mom trained me to speak normally, like when I gave presentations or anything.
My dad tried to train me.
Yeah.
And I think every time he said, oh, it's like hot out or it is hot out. Mm-hmm. And I would say, it's like hot out.
Yeah. It's like hot.
Yeah.
The problem is when I do TikToks, if I'm doing a speech that's prepared, I don't have an issue saying but on TikTok, I like riffing. Mm-hmm. I don't really know once the camera's on what I'm going to say. And a part of riffing is saying, I don't know. And
right. It's a good habit to get rid of. Another good habit is going to events by yourself. Mm-hmm. I went to an event this morning that I was invited to by a friend, and last minute my friend said she couldn't go anymore because she had a bunch of stuff to do. And she said, okay, you go without me, which is I'm not opposed to going to an event by myself. I love to do things by myself. I feel very independent. And so I said, I'm still going to go. It's a fun event. We're going to do a workout class. And I went to the event. And usually when I go to any type of event, I feel like people who are going to either a networking event or a workout event or any type of programming, everyone's usually super open and friendly and talkative. I went to this event and I just immediately, from the moment I entered the space, there was a little group of girls sitting all together, and I walked in, there was no one really there, and no one really
what kind of event
welcomed
was this?
me. It was a Pilates influencer trying a new product, some girly event.
Okay.
And no one really said hi to me, which I'm not. When you're in that position, especially if you're shy, if no one's coming up to you and saying hi, it's a really awkward position to be in. I am okay at dealing with these moments. So I went up to these two girls and I'm just like, hi. I thought maybe they were the hosts of the event. They kind of just gave me a hi. No one really told me what was going on. I see the group of girls sitting at the table across the thing, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna, go up there. They're very huddled. They've seen me come in and they haven't looked at me. So I just went and sat by myself, and then I did the workout. I met one girl who I already knew. I ran into her and we caught up. And then after, there's a whole breakfast portion where you get food, you get fruits, all these things. And I'm thinking, after the workout, people are going to be a little bit more open. No one's really being open at all. So I ended up making my big fat breakfast, ate it by myself. And I was just like, fuck it. You know what? I've said hi to maybe 6 people here, and no one's continued the conversation past hello. And so I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to leave. I'm just going to enjoy and accept the fact that you're not always going to blend and mesh with everyone, but you should still put yourself out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my takeaway. But it made me also question, why can't we say a little bit more? Whenever I'm at some sort of party or event and I see someone enter by themselves or looking for a place to sit, I will always go out of my way to say, hi, you can come here. What's your name? Go out of your way to make someone feel comfortable if they look.
It was
like
giving
they're
high
alone.
school.
It was just giving lame.
Well, it was giving middle school, high school, lunch table vibes,
It's
in
just giving
17
cardboard
again.
energy, honestly.
Yeah. Stop trying to make cardboard energy happen.
It's happening.
Gretchen.
It's happening.
No, I'm kidding. That's
Regina.
Yeah, there you go. So I was referencing Mean Girls, and 5 minutes into the show, first movie reference. That sucks. That's annoying. Honestly, though,
that's the thing. I wasn't annoyed. I was more so.
well, I was going to ask you.
Why? Why?
You do a lot of things now that are related, not only the show, but in TikTok and all that are related to content.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like after you live an experience like that, like maybe younger you or myself as well, like would just experience that and just think about it and whatever. But now I feel like you're coming at it. And what's interesting to me about what you just said is you're coming at it from like a content perspective. Like what's like your takeaway? Do you ever feel like you can just like live life these days without having like a content take about going to that? Because I just feel like, honestly, pretty relaxing. You went to a thing, yeah, made you feel a little socially awkward, but just like cool.
No, that's what I'm saying, but it's less so for me.
Mm-hmm.
It just made me think of other people in this situation, because usually I don't feel awkward in those situations. I had moments of awkwardness throughout the morning, but I was able to overcome it, and I just would want someone else in my position who was going to an event where they didn't know anyone.
Yeah,
there's sometimes where people will go out of their way to make you feel comfortable, and maybe you'll meet a friend, but sometimes they won't. And it's still good to go, because I did get a workout. I had a great smoothie. Like I still had like you said, a really great morning. I just didn't make any besties, and that's okay. You know, push yourself out of the comfort zone, even if people aren't as friendly as you.
Yeah. And what I was going to say is like to you in terms of the content question I just asked is you don't always just need a reason to do something, like to be like, and I'm going to get this out of it. Just do shit. Just go do shit. Like go to a fucking Pilates class, assume you're not going to meet anybody. It's okay.
Right.
Just go do it for you. Like I went to a coffee place today. I got what's up with the sweet cream tops, bro? You know what those are?
Tops, the
what's
cream
up,
tops.
What's up with these sweet cream tops? Also,
They're
like
slay.
I really like them too. I went to this place and I was like, can I have oat milk in this? Because I'm not like a big dairy guy. And she was like, sorry, we don't customize. I was like, all right.
Where did you go?
Maru.
Ugh.
Yeah. Sorry. Bad.
I just find, I mean, this is so niche.
So LA, bro.
This is so niche, but matcha, is very big in a lot of places now. It's getting its hype, and I find some matcha just tastes like grass.
Yeah, I didn't even have matcha. I had coffee, and I was like, "Can I get oat milk in it?" And she was like, "No, sorry, we don't customize." I was like, "All right." So I'm glad I waited.
Old days.
I'm glad I waited in this performative ass line and overpaid for overpriced coffee. That's awesome. So great morning for me.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like we were talking about experiencing things for ourselves and not having to deal with content. And I went out on Saturday with that mindset, and then I had a bunch of bullshit happen to me, and I came home. Basically, I have a friend in town. I was out with them all weekend. We end up like out at a couple bars, dancing, drinking, having a great fucking time. And one of my friends had a girl that he was coming to meet, and she had friends with her. That's what he told me. And I was, okay, cool. The friends show up, and it's only two of them. And he was obviously trying to talk to one of them. And so I was like, all right, I'll bite the bullet. I'll fucking talk. I have a girlfriend, but I'm going to talk to this other girl just to like
help the cause.
Just like so they can have one-on-one time, because they were not leaving each other's side. So I talked to this one girl. Normal conversation, and then like midway through the conversation, like out of nowhere, she like started touching my ear and like picking at my earring and started saying, what is that, and started like literally like groping like my earlobe, and then like put her hand on my leg mid conversation. It was not a flirty conversation whatsoever. Like there was zero of that vibe. We were talking about like work, and then I got up from that after they had already like talked and walked away. And then some girl stopped me as I was like walking outside of this place and was like, oh my God, you're so pretty, or you're so beautiful, or something like that. And then grabbed like under my shirt and like touched my stomach and like rubbed it. And I was like, what the fuck? Because normally when someone says something to me at a bar, I'm like, okay, it's from TikTok. But that was like the second inappropriate touch. Then someone else on the dance floor, a guy, like started like holding my hip and my back. And it was just 3 touches to the point where I left that night being like, well, this fucking sucks.
3 strikes, you're out.
Because normally I am so fucking nice when like somebody comes up about the content thing. Thank you so much. I'll take any photo, even if I'm hammered. I'm like, I don't love taking a photo if I'm hammered, because then my mom's going to see it or something. But I'll still do it, because I'm like, okay, the internet's amazing. Like I have all this outreach. It's incredible. I love meeting people, especially when they're polite. Even if they're not like super nice or they want to make fun of me, I'm still down with that.
Yeah.
The touching thing, especially as a man being touched by a woman, it actually doesn't like overtly cross the boundary of being like, this is so wrong, because it's not a man touching a woman. So I feel like it's almost not like, it's almost normalized that like, oh yeah, like men are cool with anything. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we're just like supposed to accept it. And I already feel uncomfortable a lot because of content and doing public facing stuff. And these 3 interactions back to back to back, I think if only one happened to me, I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't think about it. Yeah. But because 3 of them happened in the same night, I got home and I got off the phone with my girlfriend. I was like, I'm making a video about it. And I made a video and everyone like kind of had my back. There were a lot of people in the comments saying things like, what were you wearing? And I first read that and I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, wow, that is exactly what men say to all women when they say shit happens to them. And point taken, I totally understand. I actually feel like content has helped me live as vicariously as possible through a woman's shoes comparatively to other men, because obviously I'm still not a woman. But doing content makes people kind of view you as like an other. And I feel like all women can relate to feeling like an other, especially when surrounded by men, because men just are fucking assholes and act very inappropriately. So it made me feel very uncomfortable. And then once I posted it, I felt like a shared sense of community. It was nice to have that shit acknowledged. And hopefully, I remember like when Chappell Roan like said something about like, don't come up to me or be rude in public. And she was like, yeah, everyone called me an asshole at the time. But to be honest, like, it did change everyone's behavior. Right. So hopefully in the future, like anyone can come up to me and say hi and just don't touch me in a weird way.
In general, like don't touch people. First of all, I'm sorry that you had that experience. It sounds really frustrating. And it also makes me, I want to say thank you for seeing the female experience the way it is. I have so many stories that like were coming up in my brain as you were speaking. I'm like, oh, just yesterday I was walking down the street and this guy stopped mid-tracks, looked at me down and up as if he was kind of walked into my like point of like lane. I don't know what the word is. I was my tracks. He like moved over, paused. I thought he was gonna stop me to say like, "Oh, you dropped something." He just stops. He smiles, looks down my body, looks up my body. Yeah. Yeah, of course. And then I was like, "Ew." I literally was just like, "What? Ew, get away from me." Yeah. And even last week I was at a wedding and I was talking to this guy and we're just chit-chatting and he's just like, I want to kiss you, grabs my arm and pulls me in. And I was just like, oh, again, ew. When did I say I was part of this? Like, don't grab my arm. No one gave you permission. Yeah. I just find it's like, unless you are on a date and it's like mutual and you're having a good vibe together, like don't touch people.
Well, I think there's such a toxic misconception that men have out there when women say things like, we want a man to take charge and to show interest first. There's a lot of men that conflate that with, oh, I have to like overtly do something that's like crossing a line. And oftentimes I feel like very attractive individuals do those things and get away with it. And then when other guys do it, they try to emulate like those more attractive guys who do get away with it, and they think it's just going to relate to all men because all women secretly want a man to like grab them and show them, and like it's disgusting. Yeah, it's just sad. And I don't think all these women's intentions were the same as a man's intentions when he's grabbing a woman. However, the feeling that I got from it is women oftentimes, if you make the first move, men don't really like shoot down or like reject like those kind of advances. Like I feel like everyone thinks every man wants to fuck everything that moves. And I've been told multiple times in my life, like I was like the first person to reject other people. And I think like I could sense from one of the girl who like touched my ear, that no man had ever like been touched by her and said no or like flinched or something. It was just like it's like one of her moves. Right. That's what I felt like. And in that moment, yeah, it made me feel uncomfortable. I'm glad I stood up for myself. I didn't want to, this is the other thing too. You don't want to like embarrass the other person because I don't know. We were like out, we were trying to have a good time. I don't want to be like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, don't touch me.
Punch a girl in the face.
Well, I don't want to be like, don't fucking touch me. I just was like, all right, I removed myself from the situation. Because again, this is the other thing that I'm not a woman. I'm not ever really worried about my safety. I'm not worried that a woman's like really going to hurt me or anything like that when I'm out. So I'm lucky for that. But at the same time, the discomfort still lingers. Right. You know?
Yeah. You just don't know this person. You don't want their hands on you. Yeah. I feel like that's a big conversation that's happening this week online. Yeah. I saw another video of this girl who, she was really self-aware about it, but she said she was on a plane and she touched the plane attendant's arm, this woman, and was like, excuse me, and like touched her arm, and the flight attendant kind of got pissed. She was like, don't touch me. Like, and then I was reading the comments and people were like, never touch the flight attendant.
Never like, touch anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Don't touch. But some people are naturally really touchy. Yeah. It's their love language. But like, get a new love language.
Yeah, to be honest,
I'm
we're all
kidding.
human.
Don't get a new love language, but only like be touching people that you're in a relationship with.
Well, we're all human beings, and there's just bound to be things that get misconstrued. And I guarantee you, some people have good intentions when they go for like a gentle like arm pat. Even for me, like if someone was like, "Oh, excuse me," and they patted me on the arm and watch out, that's a fair touch, like in public, even if you don't know me. I understand that. It's when you're like lifting up my shirt and touching my stomach or putting your hand on my knee or grabbing my earlobe that I'm like, you know exactly like what line you're crossing.
Right.
Let's not do that.
Yeah.
So like, this is my no square. You know what I mean?
It's like those people, they should all just go listen to the Selena Gomez song. Can't keep my hands to myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into something that's a little bit more intimate than touching.
Okay.
More intimate than sex. What are some things that you find more intimate than sex? Call us at 888-91 on air. That's 888-916-6247. Something for me that I find more intimate than sex is sharing a bed. I don't know why having a sleepover with someone is like the most intimate thing you could do as someone who, you know, has my own bed, queen size every single night. As a single person, like that is my safe space. That's my home. That's where I can fall asleep. Anywhere else, if I'm sharing a bed with you, I'm sleeping over and like you're touching my arm when I'm trying to sleep, or like I hear you breathing, or I'm in your sheets that aren't my sheets. Like I feel like I'm so exposed. It's the most exposing thing.
Do you have like a sleep mask or like headphones or like?
All like if I don't have them, I won't be able to fall asleep.
So what's your normal bedtime routine at your place?
Well, I don't need like earplugs at my own place. I don't need a sleep mask. I need just to be alone in dead silence with all the space possible on my soft sheets. But at other people's houses, I don't have my earplugs. I don't have my face mask. I hear you. You're touching me. I feel your body heat. Your sheets are scratching me. Like I don't want it until I'm comfortable and I feel really safe with you. And that's more intimate. Whereas like sex, of course that's intimate, but there are, you know, times where you can have a one night stand or a drunken hookup. Like those moments aren't as intimate to me as like saying, let's share this time when we're in our most vulnerable. When you're sleeping, you're unconscious.
Do you snore?
I dabble in snoring. I'm not like a snorer.
You've been told?
I have this app that tracks my snoring.
Like the noises you make throughout the night?
Yeah.
You ever like sleep talk?
Yeah, once in a blue moon.
Wow. You're fucking yapping even in your sleep?
I can't shut the fuck up.
That's so funny. Yeah, I get it. I think that is pretty intimate. For me, like sex is still more intimate than sharing a bed just because I'm like the bed thing. I feel like they're actually kind of one and the same. I feel like I'm not sharing a bed with someone that I haven't either just had sex with or am currently having sex. You know what I mean? So there's not like, I guess I've shared beds with my friends before, but that's not an intimate thing. I mean, like with a romantic person, I wouldn't invite somebody to sleep over unless it was already at that level. So I feel like they're kind of hand in hand.
They are. I feel like for a lot of girls, sex is like your last power that you hold close to yourself. So like you can be enjoying your time with a guy. You can go back to his place. You can hook up. You can have a sleepover. But like sex is the one thing that you're like, I'm not ready to do that. But like here I am in your bed. I'm not going to drive home. It's late. We're going to have a sleepover. But like fuck me. Okay. I know girls listening to this know when they're sleeping over at a guy's house, like they are not sleeping.
Same with me though. Do you think if I were at some random girls out, like my trick, if I'm like in somebody else's bed, and I have to do this sometimes too, like even now, I have like one so if I'm like on the right side of the bed, I'll have like my right AirPod in, just like listen to a podcast, just like so I can knock out because I can't focus.
I know I can't focus if someone's breathing near me, but we want to know what is more intimate than sex to you.
And we posted this on Instagram, by the way.
We
just
did
want to say
on Dialed In on Instagram. So let's get to some callers before the break, and then if you want to call in, we will get to you after the break. Who should we get to first?
All right, let's go to Charlotte. Charlotte, what is going on? Tell us what is more intimate than sex to you. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi. So I think holding hands is more intimate than sex because a fuckboy will not hold your hand.
Holding hands is extremely intimate. Like, it's so romantic.
Well, publicly holding hands, right. I would say. That's the statement. I kind of agree. I don't know if it's more intimate than sex, but it feels like one and the same.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you love me.
Yeah. Holding hands in public is like, wow, you're standing on business about everything that we've done up to this point. I like what you're saying. Fuckboys wouldn't do it. So that's really the barometer. It's like, would a fuckboy do this? Because every fuckboy would have sex. So it's like, would a fuckboy do that activity? That is true. So
I don't know, Charlotte. I feel like I've been with some fuckboys who have held my hand, and that's what makes them fuckboys because they're like, this is so intimate. Let me pretend that I'm in love with you and hold your hand in public.
Wait, Charlotte, have you had sex with somebody that refused to hold your hand?
I mean, no one refuses to hold my hand, but like I also, like I'm a woman. I don't know. I'm not saying I can't. I'm not saying I can't ask, but like I don't do things all the time unless the guy initiates it, you know?
And holding hands is one of those?
I mean, I'd say so, especially if I don't know them that well.
Right.
I like to see some effort.
Definitely.
Yeah, holding hands with someone for the first time is kind of like a really big moment. You know, you grab their hand or they grab your hands and it's like, okay, now we're holding hands. Are we going to hold it for the next 10 minutes or 30 seconds? Like, who let go first?
No, but it sounds like Charlotte wants a guy to kind of take a little bit of charge and responsibility. So he has to initiate the hand holding. But like in terms of sex, like is that also on the guy to initiate in your opinion?
No, not necessarily. But I don't know. I think that I'm just the type of person where I don't like to initiate things, especially the first time.
Totally. I get that. I think honestly they're similar in that they're both kind of benchmarks for how close you're getting with someone. I don't know which comes first. I actually feel like having sex with someone comes first. That's why I kind of see Charlotte's perspective on what's more intimate, because I don't think I'm holding hands with somebody until I've had sex with them.
What about holding hands during sex?
Well, that is just next level.
That's like we're intertwined for life.
That is next level stuff. Well, we're asking you guys, what is more intimate than sex? Remember, you can always call us 888-91 on air. That is 888-916-6247. We want to hear more from you after this break. Calling us might be more intimate than sex now that I'm thinking about it.
It is pretty intimate, telling us everything you're thinking. But we asked you, what is more intimate than sex? Let's get Alyssa on the line. Alyssa, what is more intimate than sex to you?
Hi, Alyssa.
Hi. I think something that's more intimate than sex is probably sharing your trauma.
Sharing your trauma. How deep are we sharing?
Listen, I want to know why you can't open up when we're having a conversation or why you're scared of spiders.
Yeah.
I have a question. How do you get someone to open up about their trauma? Like when you're first starting to date them, like what are the questions that you need to ask in order to get the trauma out without being like, tell me your trauma, you know?
Yeah, I think it just comes in being the type of person you are. Like I think if you approach the situation with a comforting mindset that maybe, you know, they'll just open up.
I agree. I mean, opening up about things you've been through without your voice cracking or like saying like 500 times is pretty intimate. And
but I actually, okay, here's my pushback, Alyssa. Now, I would say this, healthy people sharing trauma, more intimate than sex. Unhealthy people, on the other hand, I feel like they trauma dump all the time. First date, second date, and you're like, okay, bro, like we didn't even have sex yet. Why are you doing this? Why are you telling me your whole fucking life story? So I feel like for healthier people who have therapists who they can trauma dump to, they understand that all good things, or in this case, bad things, take time to share. But
that's why it's more intimate.
Yeah, I agree. For the healthy people,
Right.
For the unhealthy people, there's somebody listening right now who's like probably a little unhealthier, and they're like, "Fuck, I just tell everyone everything like off the bat."
Alyssa, when someone shares their trauma with you, like, are you feeling really close to them after that?
Yes, that's why I think it's more intimate because you really get to know why a person acts this way, why they respond.
Wait, Alyssa, what's going on with the spiders? Who's afraid of spiders?
Listen, I just want to know your inner, deeper workings of your mind.
Yeah,
Right.
I get that. And it's just funny, though, that you mentioned spiders, because I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this. So basically, they have a spider like near their place, like where they live.
Like a local spider.
And they were going to kill it. And then I showed her, look at the spider's web. It's killed like 50 other bugs for your house. I'm like, the spider is our friend. So I don't understand the arachnophobia these days. I'm like, why are people afraid of spiders?
I'm afraid.
Me too.
Wow, guys, we gotta face those. You never saw Charlotte's Web?
Yeah, I saw Charlotte's Web. I'm still afraid.
Wow, you never read Charlotte's Web. Okay, well, listen, that's your homework assignment, okay? You can't call back in until you read Charlotte's Web for us. I totally agree, though. Sharing trauma, on one hand, very intimate thing. Like, I would probably and have had sex with somebody before I would tell them my trauma. There's no need.
Well, I think that trauma, yeah.
I guess a trauma of mine is also seeing someone else naked and them
I'm
seeing
like,
me
the
naked.
trauma of me is having sex with someone. That sounds traumatizing.
I agree. Like, it's also just like the exposed nature of just being naked in broad daylight around somebody.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, whoa.
I'm actually really good at sharing everything about my inner workings. And then when it's like time to have sex, I'm like, I have to go.
You're like, actually, I'll tell you literally everything about me.
Right.
And run out of the room.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, we asked you guys on Instagram, what is more intimate for you than sex? Let's get Marissa on the line. Marissa, what's going on? Tell us what is more intimate than sex for you.
Right. Something that's more intimate than sex for me would have to be like sharing something that's like you're so like deeply like passionate about. I mean, you're like putting it like all out on the line, like open, and if you're like happy and it makes you passionate, I think that is so incredible, and I find that so incredibly intimate and like sharing those with each other.
Can you give like an example of one of those things that you've shared before?
So like I'm like really into art. I paint a whole bunch, and like being able to open up to like somebody, like showing them that and them appreciating it, and like let's say like the other person is like into like writing or whatever, and like they share like what they've been working on, and like you both like appreciate that. I think it's lovely, really.
I agree with that.
Call me a romantic, but like,
okay,
like,
romantic.
I just love stuff like that.
It's okay. I'm a romantic too. I feel like sharing it's so easy to kind of share like the hardships of your day or like the hard things that you've been through or things that are going wrong. But to share something that is going right with someone and they're just as happy for you, if not more happy, is such an inexplicable feeling.
Also, like to share, I understand it for women. You guys are like doing that with your friends and with your friendships. Men don't really share like that. So like to share that with a man, it's kind of like rolling dice. You're like, wait a minute. Like, what if he's just like, what if you're like, wow, I really love like the inner workings of your personality. He's like, word. For sure. Definitely.
What about when a guy shares something he's excited about with the girl he's seeing, and how does it make them feel when the girl is cheering them
Definitely.
on?
There are definitely very corny things in my life. Like I play Pokemon still to this day, stand by it, but like I wouldn't tell someone that on like the first date because I don't want them to like put me in a box. I'm like, get to know me first and then understand that I'm still like a Pokemon nerd, but it's okay. Like I'm still like a fully functioning adult and like this is just something I enjoy. There are just certain things where I'm like, okay, there are little pieces of my personality, and when I let them come out and I share my interests, it means I really like the person.
Right, but what about when the girl is so excited for you because let's say you like did really well in Pokemon?
Yeah.
You know, like is it like a next level?
I did really well.
Is it a next level feeling of intimacy? Being like, wow, she really cares about me.
I don't think for men overall, yes, the excitement is important. For me personally, I don't need like the over excitement. What I really kind of like is just to see that they accept that about me. Like even a little genuine question here and there, just to appreciate that I like am not the most serious person all the time. I think that's what is most meaningful to me. I don't know if I'm wired the exact same way that all men are in that regard, but I guess we'll figure that out as we go along.
Yeah, I'm like, so what are you doing here? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But thank you for everyone who just dialed in.
Wait, actually, before we have to move on, I think we have a voicemail.
The person you are trying to reach is unavailable. Please leave a voicemail after the tone.
I think something that's more intimate than sex is showing someone your notes app, because I feel like I have so many personal little notes and things like that in my notes app. So I feel like that's more intimate.
Duh.
Yes, actually.
That's the first one that I've heard that I'm like 1,000 fucking %.
What do you think is more intimate? Showing someone your notes app or showing someone all your texts?
Okay, hold on. I'll answer that in 1 second. What do you think is more intimate? Having sex with someone or showing someone the list of people you've had sex with?
Okay.
Obviously.
I would never.
Okay, but that's what's in the notes app. What's more intimate, notes or texts? Notes.
Really?
My texts are not that intimate. I'd show anyone my text.
I won't show anyone my text.
My notes are, it's not like there's like such deeply personal things in my notes, but it is only for my eyes. Like I'm writing things that only I would understand. So like one funny thing I do on my phone, and the reason someone can't go through my phone is I have nicknames for everybody that I love and care about, and I have like gift ideas for all of them. So someone couldn't go through my notes because like all throughout the year I'm always writing gift ideas and I wouldn't want them to see it. I'm pretty sure in high school I used to have a list of people I was trying to sleep with and then did sleep with, or didn't sleep with. So that is pretty cringe and embarrassing.
I don't know about my notes. I'm trying to think. I have a lot of grocery lists, a lot of to-do lists. I have a lot of paragraphs that I've written to people that I needed to, conjure up in my
before
notes
you
app.
send them. Yes,
before I send them.
I have the same.
And it's like, I didn't appreciate how you didn't text me.
Wait, let me find one for you. Hold on. You keep going. Hold on. I'm going to find a good note in my notes app for us.
I have my baby names notes and my dog names notes. Those are ones that I actually have never shared with anyone and I won't share. I feel like I share everything.
I have my baby names in there too.
Everything for me, I'm such a big sharer. I'm an oversharer. I'm fine to share pretty much anything. But for some reason, the baby names, I'm keeping that one close to the vest.
Yeah, I think that's important. I have like stuff about movies and sports. I'm really looking for this one note that I wrote because...
It's just so funny to go through your old notes and you're like, who is this even to?
Oh, no. I know exactly the note I'm thinking of, and I never sent it. And to this day, I'm like, thank fucking God I did not send. There's no way I'm finding it. But
I'm just going to type in the word hurt in my notes app and see.
I'm just going to type in the word hurt my feelings and hope something pops up.
Type in feelings. Like, these are the keywords. Remember that girl who called in and she was like, I went through my boyfriend's text and I typed in some keywords and we were like, what words?
Yeah, hot, sexy.
Rachel, hot, sexy bitch. And we're like, feelings, hurt, sad.
Wait, I wrote this one. I don't even know what this means, but I wrote this at 3:06 a.m. 2 years ago. I guess I woke up in the middle of the night, had a crazy dream about being on the circuit, seeing people doing trapeze, flinging stuff. Whole family was there, met a lot of them, thought it was made up. It wasn't. I fell off a wooden bat and woke up.
What does that mean?
Who the fuck knows? But I don't want people to know that. That's why I just said it on the radio.
I have one that is really funny. It's 5 different versions of the same potential text back to a guy after he was rude.
Yeah.
Can I read it to you?
Yes, please.
And you could tell me, which was the best one.
Okay.
The first one. I obviously don't know you that well, and if you're always a bad texter, I'm not really into inconsistent communication at this time, especially since you asked me for plans. No hard feelings, but just doesn't work for me. Ew. Then I made another version of that. TBH, I don't really love not being answered when you made plans to see me.
Oh, man.
Inconsistent communication doesn't work for me.
Wait, what did you look up?
No
Inconsistent?
hard feelings. I looked up feelings.
Okay,
then I have another one. It's the same one.
These are both bad, though.
Didn't love the lack of response after you asked me for plans. No hard feelings, of course, but I need something a bit more consistent.
Wait, was this all drafts for the same thing?
Yeah, it's all on the same note.
But so this is all different drafts of the same text to the guy?
Yeah, I'm like, which is the chillest version of me?
Meanwhile, in my notes app, I just read one that says podcast idea.
Wait, can I just tell you the last one?
Yeah.
You know how those were all pretty like, this was the last one. Do you always leave someone on red for 2 days when you're supposed to have plans?
This guy really fucking hurt your feelings. Oh my God.
We're best friends.
This guy has like a shit-eating grin. Of course you're best friends now. Wait, in my notes app, I have one that says podcast idea. Podcast called The Same Boat, and I'm sitting in a rowboat. Amazing idea. I'm sorry. This is what my notes have is just amazing ideas, lists, gift ideas, podcast name, the Spodcast. I don't even know what that means.
Don't give all your ideas up to the public.
No, I'll give them all out because I'm very creative. I come up with things.
Since we asked on Dialed In what was more intimate than sex.
Yeah.
I mean, are you done with your notes app or you want to keep?
I'm still scrolling. You keep going.
No, because we got some people to respond to our question, which you can always respond to our question if you're too shy to dial in. Some people said, stopping while someone ties their shoes on the street, so embarrassing / intimate. Honestly, I kind of agree. When you're walking with someone, your shoes untied, and they say, oh, your shoe's untied. And then you have to stop walking and bend down, tie your shoe. It's just
never happened to me.
So cringy about it.
I've never done that.
You've never tied your shoe in public?
No, I think my shoelaces have never come untied.
If I'm with a guy and my shoe's untied, I'm like, can you?
Seriously? You have him do it?
Like, he should.
You know what's super embarrassing? Tell me about this one. This one feels more intimate than sex to me.
What?
Maybe it's not more intimate, but it's like just an embarrassing thing. When my dog unfortunately passed away, but when I had a dog back in the day and I walked him around the block, he would go to the bathroom and then like some girl would walk by and I'm like,
you have to pick up his poop.
Yeah, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing.
I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm a normal guy. I swear to God.
I'm sorry. I have to.
I'm sorry. Here's my number. I mean, my phone. I mean, And just
Someone
drop the bag.
wrote showering together is more intimate than sex.
100%.
Yeah, like the wet hair rat look.
Not even the look. That's not even top 5 parts of the shower that's most intimate. It's the sharing of the space and swapping when you need to like. Sorry, I just hit my microphone because I'm like exaggerating, showing it off in the studio. For those of you who are watching on YouTube.com.
Imagine like one person slips in the shower.
Literally. So it's like you have to navigate moving. I mean, maybe there's someone listening who has a huge shower. I don't have a huge shower and I'm a pretty big guy. So I have to like navigate moving around. You do a little dance. Then you got to like.
And then you're also like.
Do you clean the other person?
You're washing your hair. You're really getting in there. You have bubbles on your face.
Wait, do you expect it to be cleaned if you're showering with a man? Like, should he like scrub like your back or something? Like,
I feel like it's part of the experience.
Okay,
no?
it's part of the
It's like,
experience.
you do your thing. I'll do mine.
Yeah, we're just on opposite corners.
Don't touch my head.
Don't look at me. Don't you fucking look at me.
This one's obviously from a girl, and I'm with her because she's at a Brazilian wax.
Because like a girl's looking in your fucking
that's when you
vulva.
Yeah, it's when you wax your entire vagina.
Yeah. No, isn't that like a strip? That's the Brazil? Oh, Brazil is gone.
Brazilian's like the entire thing. No hair left
in
untouched.
Brazil's a hairless country?
It's like
why is it called a Brazilian? Why is it called a Brazilian?
Front to back. So it's like every part.
Why is it called a Brazilian, Rachel?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay. Anyway.
Maybe because they're so beautiful.
Like, hey,
glistening.
Okay.
I don't know.
That is probably intimate. I can't wait. You're lying down when you're getting waxed?
You're lying down.
Like
your
on your
leg,
back.
Your leg is up. Then your both legs are up as if you're giving birth.
OBGYN?
You're like in a spread eagle.
OBGYN also intimate?
Yeah, but that's, it's really intimate, but at least you're wearing a little bit of a gown. So you
Gyno?
don't see what they see. With the wax, like she's just in there and it's not like, it's painful.
Yeah.
You're sweating balls, like the light is on you. There's nowhere to go. Whenever I go to a wax, I leave the bed is like completely wet.
I have
my
to do
back's
it.
Wet.
I have to go at least once in my life just to know what it's like.
It's really dark.
All right, guys, follow us on Dialed In on Instagram. I'm going to post a full video of me getting waxed in my butt.
But I want to talk about our friendship theories.
I want to talk about friendship theories.
And also
totally not related to me waxing my ass.
Waxing your friend's asshole is more.
I saw that on Love Island, actually. And speaking of the UK, remember that guy Anton? Like, he used to shave his butt, and then he like had the guys start shaving his butt, and then he started dating one of the girls on the show, and she started shaving his butt. Anyway,
he should just get a wax.
We should have a thing, like a separate social media page called Dialed In After Dark, and it's just like all the actual disgusting moments that come from the show that we have to talk about. All right, listen, we have friendship theories coming up, so stay tuned after this break. I'm looking through my notes app still because we were doing that earlier in the show, and I'm looking at like a little thing I sent somebody asking for a job back in the day, where I was like, my name is Montaine, blah, 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 on all platforms. I'm a content creator who specializes in all things this, this, and this. With my commitment and tireless work ethic, I have been able to build my audience up to 1.3 million within 6 months. I'm currently averaging 45 to 50 million weekly video views on my page, just all this stuff. And I was like, I will of course reach out through the other normal channels, but I figured I would try a DM as well. And I actually did send that.
Nice.
No response. So fuck you.
It sounds like something ChatGPT wrote. Anyways,
this was pre-GPT.
Yeah.
This was pre.
GPT. Let's get into friendship theory.
Okay.
I know that our producer, Emily, has a theory about friendship, and let's get her on.
Yeah, guys. So I have a new friend, I guess a new friend theory after going on vacation with one of my good friends.
Emily, why is your radio voice so serious sometimes?
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
It's hilarious.
It's great.
It's my customer service.
I know. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. It's customer service. Hi, everyone.
I come to serve, guys. I come to serve.
Sorry for cutting you off.
That's okay. My theory is this. I think every friend group needs a girls trip. I think that is literally what makes your friendship last long. Taking a girls trip. I think you learn about each other. I think getting out of your everyday, like that mundane day to day, you really have to just rely on one another. You have conversations that you wouldn't have otherwise sometimes.
What's so funny about this is Emily just came back from a girls trip, and now she's like trying to sell us on the girls trip. And it's like those people who like buy an air fryer and they're like, dude, you got to get an air fryer, bro. I'm like, stop selling me on the air fryer. I know you just took one.
I have an air fryer, and I think everyone should get one.
No, I have one too.
I'm doing this with like the sound meditation I also did on this girls trip. So yes, I kind of am a salesman
Emily,
right
do
now.
you think that if you don't go on a girls trip with your friend, like your friendship is doomed?
I don't think it's doomed, but I think if you do go on a girls trip with a friend, it's going to be like so fundamentally altered that it's going to be longer.
Let's
forever.
ask Rachel. Rachel, girls trip, yes or no? Have you been on them? Are you closer with the friends you've been on trips with?
Yeah, I like a girls trip. I don't go on them often.
Is it a group, Emily, or is it one-on-one girls trip?
Okay, well, that is a good note because I feel like sometimes big group trips can ruin the friendship. So you have to kind of make sure that you're not in that situation. I think smaller groups work best.
I feel like a group of 4 would be good for a girls' trip. That way everyone has a buddy at some point. I mean, girls' trips are really fun because you get to kind of forget all of your inhibitions at the, you leave them all at the door.
What are your inhibitions?
I don't know. You just don't have to think so hard. You could
say, "Hey, penis," on Club Penguin.
Exactly.
Leave all your inhibitions at the door.
It's like Hannah Montana forever.
Your
friend.
Your bachelorette is just going to be like 6 girls on a laptop, just like playing Club Penguin, cursing. Guys are like, "She's probably out there with a male stripper." You're just playing Club Penguin,
playing the racing game when they're going down the tubes.
Hey, you fucking loser.
But you also get to like listen to all the music, the throwback music. If you've been friends for a long time, all the music that you started listening to, like college, teenage years, kid time, like it's so fun. You get to vibe in a way that
wholesome.
Yeah.
Now that's what I call music thrown on fucking "Poppin' My Collar." Remember that song? Ever since I can remember, I've been popping my collar, popping my collar.
You know they're on like now. That's what I call
Rachel's-
music, like 200 or something crazy.
I love that theory. I think that if you're in a good position to go on a girls' trip, it's always worth it. I mean, it's fun probably to go on trips where it's blended girls and guys. I think that's something I haven't really been on. And I feel like that's kind of a later stage of the game. But if you're single and you have single friends and even your friends who are married or in relationships, it's nice to get them out of that typical day-to-day and go spend time. Just the girls, leave the boys at home. Let's be silly, let's be funny, and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, I agree. And here's what I think. There's a lot of people listening who are probably like, "I can't afford to go on a trip." And that is totally cool. I don't think what Emily's saying is you need to go on like some big elaborate trip on planes or whatever, even far away from home. I think anything out of the ordinary levels of friendship, like hanging out in your hometown or doing the same things you always do, just any shared crazier experience will bring you guys closer together.
Breaking out of your day-to-day routine, breaking out of like the comfort of what you're always doing and getting your mind, your headspace, even your physical space, like just changing it up so you have conversations that you don't always have at home.
I totally agree.
With the girls.
What's your friendship theory, Rich?
My friendship theory is that you don't need to speak to your friends all the time to stay friends.
Well, duh.
Yeah.
Every guy is like, yeah.
I know, but with the girls too, I feel like, or even I don't know, I've been recently having this feeling. All my best friends, I haven't seen them in ages, like legitimately ages. And
How long is an age?
It's a long time. But I feel like with new friends that I'm meeting, at least in the last couple of years, I haven't seen some of them in a while. And some of them get they're like, "Well, when am I seeing you? Like, do you even remember me?" And I'm just like, "No, I actually don't remember you if that's how it's going to be." Do you know what I mean? Like, I think like a real friendship is like letting someone go do their own thing. When it aligns for us to hang out or talk, like we will, if we're both making an effort and it's just not working out, it's okay. It doesn't need to be that deep. I don't think being a friend means I'm having to give you all of my time. I think that's the theory.
Okay.
You don't agree?
I agree for men. I think it's much easier for us to pocket off. Like I could go 6 months without talking to some people and I'll be totally fine. We'll pick up right where we left off. I don't think being intentional is like bad about it. To be like, when am I seeing you? Like, I think that is very important. I saw a video one time from this guy who was like in his 30s and he was like, "I'm 30. I have pretty much the perfect life. Like I have a great job. I own a house. I have a wife. I have a dog. We're like kids on the way." And he's like, "I have no friends." And I was like, this is what happens when you prioritize literally everything else in your life other than friends. He's like, it sucks. And he's making a YouTube video about how lonely he is because he has all these amazing things in his life and no friends because he's like forgone all those relationships.
I guess. I'm not saying don't invest in your friends because I am investing in friendships, but these are with people who aren't feeling entitled to my time as a friend.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be entitled. I think it's like in any good relationship, you want to spend time with them. I don't think anyone should feel entitled or not get your feelings hurt like that if possible. But we're at an age where, I don't know, you have to be intentional about what you're doing and who you're hanging out with. It's not as easy as being in college because we all have the same shared life experience. You have to go out of your way to do things sometimes. You have to inconvenience yourself or they have to inconvenience themselves sometimes to go further away or go pay for an activity that they don't want to do. You know what I mean? There are just certain barriers to friendship that I'm like, you don't have to do that with all your peripheral friends. Obviously, you do that with your closer circle. That way you can maintain them. So I kind of agree. I have friends that I could go a long period of time without talking to, and it's never about the time.
Right.
But those are my oldest friends.
I just like appreciate a low maintenance friendship.
I get that totally.
Right.
I think that is very fair.
And like there are times where it's like we are all high maintenance and it's like I need you for like 5 days in a row because I'm spiraling or whatnot, or I need you to show up for me for this thing that I'm doing, or I need you to talk me off the ledge, but not a constant need. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's something I've only
just a
recently
self-sufficient ass friend.
Yeah, I just recently have started to feel this way. I used to be a very
welcome to 30, my friend.
Yeah, dependent person.
No, genuinely, I think that's like part of growth. I don't think it's an actual age thing, but I'm just like I think part of like being in your 30s is exactly what you're talking about, where you're like, okay, I have my own life. I'm an independent ass woman. Like my identity is not comprised of my friendships. My identity is like its own thing on its own. I'm in the world as this woman, and like I also love having friends and stuff, but yes, the low maintenance, I totally understand.
Yeah. Do you have any friendship theories?
My friendship theory is that everyone would want to be friends with me and come over for play dates and hang out. No, I don't know if I have like a theory per se. I would say that it is also important to have, I guess it's not so much a theory as just like an opinion of mine. Just have as many different kinds of friends as possible.
That's a good one.
Like, don't have so many friends that are just like in the same phase of life and the same walk of life and all have the same lifestyle and all of them like surfing and all of that. Just like have friends who all do different shit. Like down the line, like you're only as good as your network is. Like have a friend who's a doctor, have a friend who's a dentist, have a friend who's a lawyer. Like have it just for opinions, just for like different outreach.
Diversify your friendships.
Have a friend who's a teacher. Like have friends in all areas of life because they all are able to give different expertise. And I don't just mean go to a doctor for advice from a doctor. I mean just getting different opinions from people who have been through so many different things. I feel like all my friends used to be very one typecast.
One-dimensional to you.
Just creative artists were like my only friends. Now I have friends in every kind of area, and I think I'm much better for it. So,
do you have any friends like me?
No, impossible to replicate. Yeah. ChatGPT is the closest.
One of a kind.
I'm just like ChatGPT. Disagree with me. Boom, Rachel.
I agree.
Yeah. Those are my friendship theories.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Thank you.
I will diversify as well.
What should I call it though?
You should call it the diversification of your friendships.
The playdate theory.
The network theory.
Yeah.
Let's get into one more little fun topic, is that Chappell Roan admits backlash started to get to her when people started to hate on her for her, like in terms of her identity and her work. And so how do you separate that? So like,
who's Chappell Roan?
Chappell, you know her.
I'm just kidding. I literally referenced her earlier in the same show.
I feel like I did not explain that properly, but essentially it's for an artist.
Sorry, for everyone's information, Rachel was reading a prompt.
I can help.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so Chappell Roan and SZA sat down. They had a conversation for Interview Magazine, and SZA asked about all the backlash that Chappell got, and she was saying, does it actually ever get to you? Because I feel like celebrities always talk about, well, you just got to clear it out, you got to block it out. A lot of celebrities say that they don't Google their name. They just don't really let things affect them. And she said that when it comes to her art, she's opening herself up for criticism. She welcomes that. That's what it's all about. But when people started criticizing her for Kaylee, that's when things changed.
So how do you separate criticism and feedback from, let's say, your work and your real personality when you get it on both?
I've mastered this. I don't know. Like,
so tell us.
It doesn't feel like a crazy jump to me. I think it happened because I got so much shit online at one point that I kind of had to. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you like?
Well, I'm thinking more offline. You compartmentalize.
But compartmentalize. That's
so
the
I
word.
feel like even let's take it offline for a second. And people who work, let's say a sales job, or you're working in an accounting job, and you're learning to write an email, and you write the email wrong, and you fuck up, and you write the wrong person's name, and your boss gets pissed at you, and they're like, you don't pay attention to detail. Like, you need to work better at this. I feel like old me would take that as like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. They're saying like, I'm a bad person because I fucked up an email. So it's like, how do you separate your work from yourself or your like personality, front facing, if you are a public figure, from yourself, to not take feedback when it comes to your job so personally, as if it reflects who you are?
Well, this is the thing. I wasn't trying to blend just the online thing. For me personally, my work is online. And I think what makes it difficult for me and how I got over it, a lot of my work is personal. Like, we are our personalities online and in person. We are very similar people, and we're putting ourselves out there in the world. So when I got criticism online for the first time, it felt very personal because I wasn't like going through some alter ego like Chappell Roan and Kaylee. It was like, that's me. And that's my personality. It wasn't like some art form. It was just me talking in videos. So that really hurt for a while. Ultimately, I just was like, no, none of these people give a shit about me. Like even the people who like followed me, I was like, no one cares really. And that was kind of how I first started to move. I was like, the people seeing this, like it pisses them off in the same way I see something online and I find it cringe or annoying and it pisses me off for a split second and then I don't think about it again. And so I just stopped getting so offended when people would say things because I'm like, even if it is weirdly personal and deep in that moment to them, like they're not thinking about it. They don't really care in the grand scheme. And it's not really bringing any joy into my life, even when I get positivity in that way.
Right.
And therefore I shouldn't let negativity take away.
Love that. I think also when it comes to like personal feedback from like friend to friend or someone you're dating or just something outside of work, if someone is giving you feedback, I think it's really easy to quickly take the offense or go on defense and just be like, they hate me. But then I'm thinking about it more. And I think if someone's willing to give you feedback, it's because they care. They care about the friendship. They care about the relationship. They care about how you made them feel. They care about how you're going to move forward. If it's not to you, to other people. I think it's coming from a place of care. What do you think?
Depends. Like with certain people in your life, yes, like they're the close circle if they're giving me feedback for sure. But like with people who don't know me or criticizing just my work, I'm just
I'm
like,
not talking about your work though. I'm talking about like, let's say you're with someone that is like personal and someone gives you feedback. I feel like I would usually jump to be like, oh my God, they hate me now. But it's either I hurt them and they care about our friendship and they're trying to tell me that I did something to hurt them, or they care about, how I'm looking to the outside world and they want to help me with something and give me feedback. But it's definitely hard to accept feedback without like taking an ego hit.
Like what makes you feel like whole as a person? Like what gives you your confidence?
Feedback. Positive
Seriously?
feedback.
So it's like positive for me.
Actually, I don't know. Being busy, it makes me feel whole.
Yeah. I think that's one pillar. Like for me, it's just like, it's a combination of things that I've worked hard to accomplish or parts of my personality that I just like really enjoy. Those are the things that probably give me the most confidence. I feel like I've actually kind of strayed away from letting words of affirmation really like inflate my sense of importance or self. And I feel like that straying away has kind of made me more confident as a whole, because when there is criticism or feedback, it doesn't really attack me.
Love that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, happy Friday.
What a philosophical ending to today's show of Dialed In. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you had as much fun as we did. We actually hope you learned a little bit today. Normally we just have fun, but today was a learning experience.
And if you want to learn more, follow us at Dialed In on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me at Rachie Fried Poulet.
Me at Montaine on all platforms. Drop a love comment, drop a hate comment, and maybe I'll see you there. Someone got mad at me the other day. They said, you don't respond to comments. You think you're too cool. Goddamn right, baby. That is why.
Have an amazing weekend, everybody. I hope you have a cool ass weekend.
All right. Have an amazing weekend. Have a cool ass weekend. Bye.